What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We had a long weekend. I hope everybody enjoyed the 4th of July. Had a lot of fun. I took a break from the stock market because sometimes, if you're always in the mode of stock market, you can start making mistakes. Everybody needs a little bit of relaxing. So I hope everybody had a good holiday. Everybody had some good time. Kept it safe as well. And let me know in the comments below what you did for your 1st of July. I'm curious to know. I didn't do anything crazy. I'm just more excited about flying to New York. I'm flying to New York Thursday or Friday. I don't know. One of those days, either Thursday or Friday. Then I'll be in New York for a little bit, just a short amount, like a few days. And then I'm flying to Europe. I'm going to Italy for a little bit. I'm going to be in Italy the whole month of pretty much July through August. So I'll still be doing everything I can do. I'll just be in Italy. So that's a beautiful thing that I love about the stock market. I get to do it from anywhere in the world. I always travel, of course, with the whole COVID thing. I didn't travel as much, but I'm getting back to my traveling thing. So I'll be going to Italy. And from Italy, I don't even know. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll go to a different country. I'll be back for a little bit. I'll definitely go on another trip in the early autumn or, early fall, whatever. So, that's a beautiful thing that I love about the stock market. It gives me that freedom that pretty much not that many jobs can give you. Because even some jobs that are, work from home, you still gotta live close to, like I have a buddy of mine, he works from home and he works for Microsoft. He has a really great job. He makes well into over 200,000 in Microsoft. Works from home, but still has to go to his office every once a week. So he doesn't have the opportunity I have of traveling so much. But enough of that. Let's get into some charts. Since it was a longer weekend, I get to look at some more charts. And first of all, let's start off with Qualcomm. So Qualcomm was actually a play for some more members in chat, and it was complete fire. And I'm starting to like Qualcomm a little bit more and more. So the first thing about noticing about Qualcomm is that we had this breakout from the top of here, formed this pattern here, broke out of it, retested it, and if you can draw the bottom part, we can draw around here, hold shift, boom, just like that. Put this a little bit down here, like that, and you can see how we had this breakout of oh, I don't even know why I did. Damn it, I killed our breakout. So we can see that over here. All right, so we had this breakout and it came down and we pretty much retested this breakout in this next candle. But now what I'm gonna look above Qualcomm is 145, the level 145 or so. So I want to see a breakout above 145, maybe a little bit below. If we bring it down to 144, so 144 and a half. Seeing if we get this breakout above 144 and a half, it can definitely be a long entry, and I'm looking for this gap fill up here. So we have a pretty large gap to fill, pretty much all the way up here. And it's really not even that far off. It's just because the Qualcomm doesn't move a lot. But if we get this breakout 145 above this, pretty much this last candle right here where we got rejected, I think we can get this gap fill for pretty much a longer term swing trade. So the above 145 targets 152 and 160, and my stop loss will be at 142 and a half once we trigger the 145. So this is what I'm looking at for Qualcomm. It's a play that I like. It's a play that has a lot of momentum going for it, and I think it can do well. So definitely my watch list. Make sure you put it down on your watch list. Set your alerts about 145. Next, Coop. So this is actually an older play from 2 weeks ago. Let me erase here. But this is actually a play that it worked perfectly. If we go here to my if we go to my profile, I think it's how it works. Go to my profile and we look at Coop from when was Coop from here was on June 20th. Broke out in residential pattern, looking for a strong fill the gap from 245 to 259. Had strong ER and down 30% from all-time highs. So you see, this is how I send out my weekly newsletter. If we play it, so this is what, boom, we had the perfect entry on the breakout on this. You see the green lines of webinar entry, and fill the gap, and he's doing great for us. And I think Coop still has a lot of potential to still fulfill. I mean, our first trade on it has been done well, but what I see on that is that now that we came down and we retested it, we actually make the gap a little bigger up here. We tested the gap, the top of the gap. I think it still has room to run. I still think we can see 270, retest 270. We get the horizontal line. Retest 270. The main issue I see with Coop is this 200 EMA, this blue line. I got rejected on it, so we do need the trigger entry would be the break of the 200 EMA. Then I think we can go to 70 and then even the top of 290. So 292, 292, what is this? 295. So about 295. I think if we read this break about 200 EMA, trigger entry, we can retest for sure 270, which was kind of the top of what this first low run that we've been on. And then maybe potentially fill it up, hold it to 292. So as I'm looking for Coop, it's actually a play that we've been kind of in since the low 240, and it's been really great for us, and I think it still has a lot of potential. Next, let's talk about ticker symbol PDD. It's one of those China stocks that I've been kind of selling off lately a little bit, but what I'm looking for PDT, it's actually setting up a pretty nice triangle at the bottom of this gap right here. If we adjust this, boom, like just like that, we got this triangle set up like this. We also have the bottom here, down here. We've dragged this up, and boom, set up just like that, forming this triangle. Right now it's at the bottom of this triangle. It looks like it's bouncing on it. If you can see this candle, it's getting a wick off the bottom. So if we can see a little more consolidation, looking for a breakout of this triangle with some good volume. And I think the major lever to look at would be 140. I think it definitely needs to get 140 or so, 138 maybe. 138 I would say, actually the bottom of this, where it was a previous pretty strong support on 1 and 2 occasionally double bottom and then fell through it. So it's, you know, it's been kind of chopping above it, but again rejecting the top resistance. And I think if we can break it, this is a triangle. Once you squeeze a little more, look for the entry on this breakout, and I think we can see, if we go over here to rectangle, we see another gap that needs to be filled up here. I know we always talk about gap fills, but they just work. Now, does the gap need to be filled? No, the gap does not need to be filled. But I think the whole China sector is looking pretty strong. Not strong, but it's looking ready for a move up. And I'm looking at PDT to consolidate, break out, and potentially look to fill the gap up here. Of course, doesn't have to happen. That's why we set our alerts. These are just potential plays that we're looking at that we're gonna follow up on and see if we can guess, you know, if some of them are gonna work out, some of them are not, some of them are not gonna trigger. It's all part of it. You know, you gotta do your, at the end of the day, you always gotta do your due diligence and make sure you don't just enter plays just to enter them. You always gotta have a plan behind it. And this is how you work on creating a plan, guys. This is how you work on creating a plan. You chart it out, you understand what your entry trigger is, you understand your profit targets, your stop losses, and all that stuff. But now I'll move this up here. I got Novavax. Had been going a bit of a downtrend on the 2 hour. This is actually on a 2 hour time frame, but it just broke out of this 2 hour time frame. So tested once, twice, 3 times, 4th time it broke out of it. And if we zoom in a little more on it, you can see that it retested on the top, making a small flag on the 2 hours, and I'm looking for this continuation to keep happening. So they also have a strong, Novavax also has a ER coming up in August, and I think this might be a beginning of a pretty strong uptrend leading up to that ER date. If we zoom out on the longer time frame, you can also see as well how it just broke out of this downtrend that it was on. Profit targets looking at 229, next profit target of course 250, and I think above 250 I'll go back to its all-time highs of what is the all-time 330. So Novavax, I really like this break of trends. I love trading break of trends because that usually is going to give you the highest risk to reward, and it's kind of like just the way I like to trade. You know, I like to anticipate the break of trends, or even getting at the bottom of here. Like if you get in here on Novavax, this is a great entry. I think we played this a few weeks ago. Maybe this a little bit below, but you can see that this was a pretty strong support area between 138 to 117. And you know, if you played that, you know you're playing on that break of trend. You know, the bounce on the support, starting a trend up, or you know, if you break these trends, starting an uptrend. That's why you want to trade it. You know, you want to play into the trends. You want to play off the price actions, the EMAs. You don't want to trade off of like, you know, all these million indicators that I see a lot of other people trade. And a lot of things that I love about being a technical analysis trader, that a lot of times you see this break of trends right before there's a big news. There's been so many times that I traded something and I was like, wow, A few minutes later, a great example was Boeing. Where's Boeing? We traded a short setup on Boeing. Let me zoom in on the 5 minute time frame. It was just an intraday setup, but we traded Boeing. Let me erase all this stuff. But this is a great example. We traded Boeing on Friday, and let me zoom in a lot. Let me zoom in. All right, here you go. We traded Boeing on Friday, and we entered pretty much like right at the market open, right around here. It's a little hard to say on TradingView, but we were doing this live in our Discord community, and we bought some puts right here on this green candle, and using there was a VWAP, the VWAP indicator got rejected on the VWAP indicator, and we entered because technically it looked good to fall, and boom, we got this massive fall, and this our puts were up like 400% at the very bottom of it, but until double bottom and kind of recovered a little bit, but kept selling off. But what had happened was he had news. So we saw in the technical analysis, I saw that it was willing to go down because the investors, the people that have the insider information, they're getting set up to dump it. Then the news hits and everybody dumps it. But if you're a technical trader, you kind of get to see that a little bit ahead of time. And that's why I love trading technical analysis so much more than fundamental analysis. I like fundamentals for long term, but for the day trading and the short term swing trading, I really like that's why I'm a technical trader. So we had gotten in when pretty much all the investors were getting ready to dump it. The news came out that Boeing had I forgot, I shared the news in the chat, but I think it was something that one of their planes fell or like you took fire, something like that, and then boom, it tanked. So you're gonna see a lot of times when you trade in technical analysis, you see a break of trend or something, and then you see the news hits because all the big investors are kind of already setting up the trade to dump because they're getting rid of their shares because they already know what's gonna happen. So that's why I love to be a tactical trader. But these are some of the stocks I'm looking at for next week. One last one I want to talk about is AMC. So we spoke about AMC in the last video, and I told you guys what's going to happen with AMC. And I told you guys I even took some calls on AMC, and I told you guys it was not smart for me to take calls on AMC. And I said, why was it not smart to take calls on AMC? Because I was like, this was the setup, and you can go either A or B. If you go back and you watch the video, I mentioned that, and as you guys can see, it went B. I get in the bottom here, hoping that we get in the A setup that I was looking for, but since this is a symmetrical triangle, we could have gone either way. And I mentioned to you guys, like, do not enter into this confirmation. And if you did listen to me, you saw the confirmation happen when you got this crackdown here. You got this retest on the second candle. You can probably see it better on the tighter time frames if we zoom in a little bit. So yeah, you saw this crackdown, came down to retest it. You can lower this a little. You lower this a little bit like this. Crackdown. Came down to retest it and then kind of dumping it. So if you waited, like I kind of explained to you guys, you want to wait on this setup when it's a symmetrical triangle like this. It's a 50-50 up or down. You gotta wait for the confirmation, and that's why you gotta wait for the confirmation. So if you guys did watch that video, good for you guys because you guys knew what was gonna happen. So if you did watch it, good for you guys. If you did happen, if you waited for the confirmation, shorted up here. Good for you guys, but not all people are gonna be mad. I'm talking, why are you talking about shorting EMC? We're just day traders, guys. I trade the charts. I don't care really what's happening. I want the EMC to go up. I want everybody to get a nice short squeeze. I don't know if people bought in here. 45. I told you guys it's my level that I like if you want to go along with shares, but we didn't get that yet. But yeah, these are my thoughts on AMC. We're gonna have to wait and see. Technically, the chart doesn't really look great for a setup. It's actually on a pretty strong. It's actually on a resistance, as you guys can see here, with 52 when from this previous here gap to fill. So it filled this gap, which was nice. Actually didn't notice it till now, but it did fill the gap here, and now it's on some resistance level. So now it's on a resistance. Will it get above it? We'll have to see on Monday if it gets above it. But I didn't notice that there was actually this gap here to fill. So we fill this gap, so that's pretty good. And now we just gotta get over this resistance before we try to do anything else with AMC. But yeah, let's wait and see on AMC what's gonna give it to us. We'll probably get a short squeeze at some point, I'm guessing. And it's all for me today. Hope everybody's good rest of their day. Get ready for tomorrow. Kill the week next week, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.